too. Welcome to Real Talk with Gail. Blessed to be with you, Kingdom Dream Chasers. Those of you who are online business women wanting to build your business on kingdom values. We are chasing the dreams that God put in our hearts. And we are yoking with him and trusting that he changes the desire of our hearts. You don't have to worry if your desires aren't of him. Girl, if you just stay close to him, he will change the desires of your heart. I can promise you that. Okay. Because that's what he does, and that's who he is, and that's what he's promised. I didn't say it, he did. So let's jump into this conversation around the hobby mentality. The hobby mentality, and why I believe the hobby mentality is actually robbing God's daughters of what he has for them, the blessings, the joy that he has for them. When we step into a hobby mentality, and you got to stay with me because I'm going to be clarifying this so we're all on the same page. When we step into a hobby mentality, we are in a very casual, whatever. If it happens, it happens. If it works, it works. I'm just going to trust God to provide. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying. God does provide, but he asks us to work. Clearly, scripture is full of references about how we work our field, about how we are the Proverbs 31 woman, but it's how we do it. Just like when Jesus talked to the disciples about those who want to be successful and those who want to be great, he told them how to do it. He didn't tell them not to do it. He told them how to do it, and that's be a servant leader. And when he gave the talents, when the master gave the talents in the parable of the talents, what did that one who was afraid do? Just buried it all. I'm too afraid. Listen, please. I'm too afraid of what this might do to my life. And I find, so I'm just going to bury it and then I'll just give it back. And the master was none too happy about that. Said some pretty harsh words. You can go look it up. It's a little painful to read, but it's a worthy read. So when we're talking about the hobby mentality, I'll never forget when I found how many Eric Worre fans. I love Eric Worre. Eric Worre, I love Eric Worre. Years ago when I discovered Eric Worre, the GoPro mentality, I just fell in love with Eric because what he was doing is elevating this industry. He's saying, listen, stop just telling yourself that you're going to do a little here and a little there, because what actually you're doing is you are degrading the industry because you're not showing up fully for the women that you've been called to serve, that you're serving. And so when you kind of, you're hot one minute, cold the next, when you're kind of showing up on Facebook or you follow up with your customer 1 week and then you don't follow up with your customer for 4 weeks, right? What you're kind of, you're making the industry look like it's very casual, and it doesn't really, you're not really making a commitment. It's not meaningful. You're not building trust with your customers, which is making it look like stepping into this kind of a business opportunity, that you don't have to have a professional work mentality. And Eric Worre said, the heck with all of that. I don't care. And this is what I heard Eric say. It doesn't matter if you want to work your business 1 hour a day, 30 minutes a day, 4 hours a day. When you do, be a pro. Be a professional. Now, is that not so kingdom? I don't know Eric's beliefs, but I know his principles are biblically based. Because when he calls us to be a pro, what he's saying is have excellence. We are daughters of the King. When we work, let us work with integrity. Let us work with beautiful follow-up and customer care. Let us work with intention and focus. Let us work with effectiveness. Let us work from rest, which means we are working from a place of trust, which means Are we hungry for the sale? No, we are hungry for the relationship. We are trusting that if we build a relationship, the sale will come. So what the hobby mentality does is it tells you that, and there's a lot of leaders in the industry who actually unintentionally promote the hobby mentality. And I've been guilty of this when I was in the industry recruiting. What does that look like? Oh, you want to just join for the products? You want to just get you want to just join because you just want the wholesale prices? That's different if what she's telling you is, listen, I do not want a business. I'm never going to have a business. And even when they say that, sometimes it's just a wall of defense, right? Because they're out of fear. But if she's telling you that she just wants the products wholesale, she wants to just be, you guys have all different names, so I get tongue twisted here because every company seems to call it something different. But when you join for the auto ship, for the discount, we used to call it a friends and family rep, meaning that all they really ever want to do is get the discount. And if they have a friend or a family member who says, well, I want the discount, well, then they'll sell it to them. But that means they're making $0. That is their intention from the beginning, is never to earn $1. So what you have to discover is that, are they saying that out of fear? Because they don't want to fail at a business? And they think if they tell you that they'd like to earn some money from this, that all of a sudden you're going to put all this pressure on them and they're going to like not be able to handle it and they're going to fail? Or are they really saying it out of wisdom? Based on my life right now, based on the bandwidth right now, I only want the products at cost. I have no intention of ever earning $1. And you can ask them, I want to be really clear. I want to serve you at the highest level I can. And in order to do that, I need to understand where you are right now. And I know things can change. Did you hear what I just said? You're planting the seed with her. I know things can change, but for right now, let me make sure I understand your intention so I honor it. Are you hearing this? I want to understand your intention because I want to honor it. Is your intention to just get the discount and never earn $1? Or is your intention to potentially start a business, but you're just not ready to right now? If you're not asking that question, then you're not serving her very well because you're making assumptions about where she's at and you're not truly discovering what does she really want right now. And then when she says, I don't want to earn $1, I just want the product, say, well, I hear you and I will honor that. But I want to ask you something. What I've learned is that things change over time. Usually about every 60 to 90 days, people's life situations change. So would you be all right if I checked back in with you in a couple months and just see how things are going? Are you loving the products? And has anything changed? How are you? What's your perspective of the company at this time? And has anything changed? So what you're doing in that is you're saying that I may only work my business 2-3 hours a day, but girlfriend, when I work my business 2-3 hours a day, I am not doing this as a hobby. It is a business that I've made a commitment to, and I will make a commitment to you should you decide to do this. And I will show you how I'm building my business on very part-time hours, but don't misunderstand me. When I'm doing those part-time hours, I'm showing up for my company as a professional in this business and for the women that I serve. I'm fully committed to the women that I serve. So just because I don't want you to see me talking about how I love to be with my grandchildren and I love to travel, and for you to think that this isn't a full-time commitment for me, because it is. I just do it in part-time hours and I love every minute of it. Because when we are showing up with a hobby mentality, there's a number of things happening. We are robbing ourselves of the belief that we can actually operate a business. Because I don't know about you. Let's look at a hobby like painting. Anybody, any wannabe artist, or I shouldn't even say wannabe. I'm not even a wannabe artist. I enjoy art. I enjoy creative things. I enjoy painting. I enjoy, like I used to do creative memories, right? The scrapbooking stuff. Like I enjoy those kinds of things. They actually bring energy. And when I've been in kind of a work season, like, you know, the focused intentional seasons, I usually try to schedule something. It might be doing some flower arranging. It might be signing up for a painting class, but those things are outlets for myself. Okay. But that is a hobby. I have zero intention of making any money from it. However, it doesn't mean that there aren't a lot of benefits to it. But what you have to ask yourself is my intention for this just to be a hobby? Or is my intention that this is a business, but I will proudly work it part-time? But I will be a professional during those part-time hours. In Bill Johnson's Dreaming with God, the book is called Dreaming with God. He talks about the 7 mountains. I've got a podcast on this. You can go Google about this. I'm not going to take the time now to go into detail on it. But what he talks about in the 7 mountains, one of the mountains is business. And what the general idea around the 7 mountains is trying to break Christians out of the mindset that we are called to church. And we go to church on Sunday. And we maybe go to a Bible study, we hang out with our church friends, and then we leave that environment and we go do the rest of our life. We go to PTA, we go to MOPS group, we go to another business that we have, we go to work our 9 to 5, we go to our direct sales or network marketing business, but we don't carry the kingdom with us. We kind of leave it at church. You know what I'm talking about? And for a long time, hundreds maybe of years, this was very pervasive in Christian mentality and Christian thinking. And the kingdom mentality is coming in and radically changing things and saying, no, we are called to take the kingdom wherever God plants us. And there are 7 mountains, arts and entertainment. So if you're in Hollywood, if you're an actress, guess what Christian actresses and actors are doing? They're rising up. If you are in media, be light, be salt. If you're in business, one of the 7 mountains is business. God is calling his sons and daughters to be light in the industry of business, whatever industry he calls you to. You can minister in the marketplace. You can serve and act out your kingdom values and be salt and be light there. But what Bill Johnson talks about very specifically in the business mountain, in order to attract people, you need one thing. In order to attract people to you, which, hello, if people aren't attracted to you, girlfriend, how are you going to get into a relationship with them and see if they will become a customer or a teammate, right? So in order for them to be attractive to you, you need to be successful at what you are doing. And I know for some of you that instills a level of fear and anxiety. You hear that and you think, oh, what does that mean? I have to be successful. Well, guess what? We all define success differently. And what we do as kingdom businesswomen is we set goals, we take inventory, we track leads, we come up with our daily method of operation, we come up with our most important activities, our income producing activities, all of the things, but we lay the results at his feet. But we do not lay at his feet our responsibilities, our activities. That's when we say, no, I am committed. I am a professional. These are the daily tasks that I'm committed to doing. And these are the hours today that I'm going to do them in. And it's not just about me that I complete these tasks and I grow in success in my business. It's for the women that God is drawing to me. She needs to see that I am being successful at what I'm doing so that she can trust me to mentor her. And that's mentoring her in the products or mentoring her in the business opportunity or both. And you guys, we know this is true. And again, I always default to health and wellness, because it's just too easy not to. And that is, if I have products that are weight loss products, but I'm not losing weight on them, it makes no sense that someone would be attracted to wanting to work with me. They want to work with the person who just had the transformation, right? Clearly, that person has had success. I'm attracted to that person because they can show me how to do what they did. It's right in front of me. It's very clear. So for those of you who don't have wellness products, maybe you have skincare products, be showing off your transformation and the transformation of your customers so that those women can trust that they too can experience the transformation. If you have a course, show off the results that people are getting in that course. If you have different trainings, if you have, I'm looking at Kelly. Kelly is with 31. She's got organizational tools for the home, for the business, for the closet, for the bedroom. We could go on and on. I'm not doing it justice, right, Kelly? But she's going to be showing women how they're feeling more successful in their home, in their kitchen, in their car. Do you know how much stress women experience because of all of the clutter? Enter Kelly. Kelly's going to be marketing how women have found success. I'm looking at J Bell and I'm looking at Tammy, who have had powerful, massively visually powerful transformations in health and wellness. You need to be talking about that and showing that all day long, every day. Sharing the stories and the nuggets about how not only you, but others have come alongside you and you've been able to help them get that same transformation. Looking at my skincare girls, looking at my wellness girls, looking at Jeep Girl Power Alliance. Looking at Joanne, Girl Power Alliance is a network marketing company that sells Christian women personal development. Hello. Do you know how many Christian women want and are hungry for Christian personal development? So find the women, Joanne, that have come into your courses, that have found success, and be showing that success to others. And there's two parts to that, right? There's the women who just have found success in the actual courses, Radiant Leadership Academy, the speakers, trainings, but then there's also the ones who have found success as a business opportunity and they've earned income. So as you remove the hobby mentality, I believe, is just straight from the enemy. Because what the enemy is doing is having you make daily excuses. My business isn't that important. It's not going to make that much money anyway. So I don't need to make it a priority. I don't want to have some big platform. So I can do this tomorrow. If God has called you to business, he's called you to be successful at your business, and he wants to work through you. And Jesus can make anybody look good. So quit trying to pretend that you're not going to look good in your business, because really what you're saying is, I don't believe God will make me look good in my business. Jesus can make all of us look good. We just have to yield. We just have to yield. And how do we yield? We show up every day, making space for him so that he can speak to us and guide us, and we stay yoked, so that when he speaks in that small voice of a whisper, we can hear him, because the pace of our life has quieted down. We've removed the clutter, and we can hear him. And when we start to deviate from the path that he's put us on, because girlfriends, we do. This should not shock you. This is what we do. This is why we need him. So when, not if, when we start to deviate, guess what? We're yoked, we're tethered. So all he has to do is, oh, okay, thank you, Lord. Woo! Thank you. I don't know about you, and I'm going to wrap up with this. I used to feel so ashamed when I would get those waves of like overwhelm or fear. It could be about anything. And I usually get them at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes I'm like, whoa, I trust you. Why am I having this wave of fear about this thing that is really kind of no big deal? And now I used to feel as ashamed. And I used to think, Gail, you've got to fix this. But now, do you know what I do? Lord, thank you for reminding me of how frail I am. Thank you for reminding me of how fragile I am. Thank you for reminding me of how weak I am. I can do none of this without you. And I just feel his whole face beam with delight. Exactly. Come back to me, yoke to me. Let me show you my power. Go into, remind yourself, Gail, right now of who I am. And so I start. You're the Alpha and the Omega. You're the maker of heaven and earth. You're the God of everything that is seen and unseen. And I keep going. You know the plans you have for me, plans to prosper me and not harm me, to give me a hope in the future. You are tending me. You are gathering me. You are carrying me. You are leading me. And I just keep going. Every scripture that the Holy Spirit brings to mind, and I just keep going. And that fear that came powerfully was a gift, because it took me back to him. All right, guys, the hobby mentality is robbing you, and not just you. It's robbing the women that God has called you to serve. Because when you show up with that hobby mentality, she can't trust that you're really going to be there for her. When she wants to do a return, when she has a question about the product. So you showing up consistently, and I'll lastly end with this, and a lot of my clients have been hearing me talk about this a lot lately, and we'll talk about it next week in Position to Prosper in more detail. But this idea that, especially for women in the second half of life, you are supposed to want to protect your free time. You're supposed to feel, I have earned this lifestyle of being able to have freedom. I've retired from raising my family. I've retired from perhaps a 9-to-5, or I'm getting ready to. And I'm longing for an ability to work, have purpose, but for it not to take over my life. But so many stay held back because they're afraid if they step into the fullness of what God has for them, they'll lose all of that free time that they have been longing for years, to travel, to go on bike rides, to go on walks, to have coffee hours and chats, to rest in the garden. And that is a lie from the enemy. You do not ever have to compromise working from rest. And you can work your business part-time hours and make full-time income and step into the fullness of showing other women how to do the same. But you've got to believe it's true, and you've got to be committed to it, because it won't happen with a hobby mentality that tells you, girl, just do it tomorrow. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. What if it was a big deal, but only about 3 hours a day? What if you could say right now, I will make my business a really big deal for you, Lord, but 3 hours a day. And then you step into that and you do the tasks that are most important in those 3 hours. And then you track and you watch the God-given leads that come. And he will guide you. He will pivot you. If he wants you to do 4 hours, he'll guide you to 4 hours. If he wants you to do 2 hours, he'll guide you to 2 hours. And I promise you, you're going to watch him bend time for you. You're going to experience things like this. You're going to be saying, oh my gosh, this thing that I want to do, creating a Facebook group. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so hard. It's going to take so much time. And then you say, nope, I'm not buying into that. Lord, at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I am sitting down and we are banging this thing out. And you're going to be like, done. And you're going to go, I thought that was going to take me all day. But I just told myself a story that it was going to be hard. It was going to be too hard. All right. Ditch the hobby mentality. Just be aware of it when it tries to sneak back in to your consciousness, and take the thought captive and say, no, a hobby mentality would rob not only me and my family of what God has for me, but it's going to rob the women that he's called me to serve. All right, Facebook, we're going to say goodbye. If you want to get these every Thursday, except for when I am live teaching, which next week is the Position to Prosper Challenge. There's new things happening next week in the Position to Prosper Challenge, so you don't want to miss it. You're going to be hearing about, I'm going to be actually showing you different nurturing sequences. We're not just going to talk about them. I'm actually going to show you nurturing sequences. So you guys are going to be like, oh my gosh. All right. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to be showing you the fastest path to $100,000 in sales in this industry without hustle and grind from a kingdom perspective. What does it look like? Do you believe it's possible? And I will show you how it's possible. And I'll also show you what's likely preventing you from stepping into it, which I've hinted on today. There's also a chance for you to be an affiliate. We still have 5 days of promoting, because we always invite women to come in, even on Monday, our day one. So some of you are already affiliates for the challenge. So post, share, let women know why P2P was important to you. What changed in your business because of it? What changed in your thinking? What pivots happened? Share those with them, not just the link, right? They want to know why you're sharing it with them. What was helpful? Why do you think they should do it? So any questions, let me know. We're going to say goodbye. Everybody wave to Facebookers. You can always register for these on Zoom. Okay, so I'm going to take I have 1 minute for anybody who's got a big question or a big comment about something God spoke to you today about this hobby mentality. Oh, Chantel, let's hear it. You're going to speak for everybody right now.
Okay. I want to know more about, or just can you answer the question when you said stay yoked to hear from God? So are you speaking of like making sure you're like connected, or so that if I'm speaking to you, you're ready? Like,
great question. And so for me, in Master Your Morning every morning, that is I wake up every morning seeking him first so that I'm staying yoked. I want to be able to hear his voice. So another thing, so that's my first step, is going through my Master Your Morning. It prepares me, prepares my heart. It prepares my mind into his word, hear his voice, cast vision on what he wants for me, journal a little bit deeper about things that are going on in my life, and then make that calendar plan for the day on what's most important he wants me working on. Then throughout the day, I want to have space to be asking him. It might be space to go have a coffee with a friend, when really I tell myself, you should be at your desk working. No, I'm not listening to that. I'm making space. I'm going to have coffee with a friend, building relationships. It might be walking out on my deck. Sometimes, honestly, I'll forget to eat. I go sit down and I eat. I'll make a cup of tea just to get some more time with him. Those activities for me are how I stay yoked. It might be, my son just texted me. I stop and I sit and I say a prayer for him and the family that he's with. And, so all of those my mother messages me, I stop. I pray. So all of those, any opportunity I have to get yoked, to just stay close. I literally, in my Master Your Morning time, I'll feel him reach. We sit at the end of a dock. Jesus is there waiting for me. His feet are dangling, toes touching the water. I go sit next to him. And I've literally felt him reach around. And you know how you do when someone, and you're sitting, feet hanging over, and someone reaches around and pulls you in at the ribs, at the waist, at the ribs, and pulls you in, that snugs in. And it's just staying close, staying yoked. I want to hear your voice. I want you to be the one leading. So I hope that was helpful, Chantel.
Let me just ask him the last thing. So you feeling like, I understand what you mean, so that you're not feeling guilty when you go have that cup of coffee, or you're not feeling guilty when you do other things, instead of being working, you feel like it's okay because God has instructed you to do it.
Yeah. So I see where you're going. And yes, there is that voice that said that the more you practice it, the more guilt won't even enter the picture anymore. At the beginning, it feels like I will choose not to feel guilty about this. I am making space. I'm going to go have this lunch with a friend. After you keep practicing it, guilt doesn't even enter the picture anymore. You're just like, oh, I'm having lunch with Diana today. I'm so excited for the space, the love, the connection, the relationship that's going to bring. I know God, I'm honoring him by saying to myself, I can go have lunch. I can step away from my business. The whole thing is not going to fall apart, Gail. Trust me. So do you see what I'm saying? We'll move away from that kind of guilt mentality into that. I'm honoring him. This is joy. I get to move away from my business and go have lunch with my girlfriend today. Right? All right, guys, have a beautiful day. I'd be honored if you are sharing Position to Prosper. Let's keep bringing women in so that we yoke. You're going to have more connections, more friendships, more people to talk to, and we're going to rise together. So thank you and have a beautiful day.